There has never been anybody quite like Mr. Busy. He could do things 10 times as fast as ever you or I could. He lived in a very busy-looking house which he'd built himself. It had lots of doors and windows, and do you know what it was called? Weekend Cottage. Do you know why? Because that's how long it took him to build it. One fine summer morning, Mr. Busy was up and about bright and early at 6 o'clock. He jumped out of bed and had a bath and cleaned his teeth and cooked his breakfast and ate his breakfast and read the paper and washed up and made his bed and cleaned the house from top to bottom. By which time it was 7 o'clock. Busy Mr. Busy. Now, next door to Mr. Busy lived someone who wasn't quite such a busy person. In fact, a very unbusy person. Mr. Slowe. And that same fine summer morning at 7:05, when Mr. Busy knocked at his door, Mr. Slowe was fast asleep in bed. He'd gone to bed for an afternoon nap the day before, and somehow hadn't woken up until he heard Mr. Busy knocking at his door. "Who's that? Knocking at my door?" "Good morning," cried Mr. Busy. "Can I come in?" And without waiting for an answer, he went inside. "Where are you?" he called. "I'm upstairs," came the slow reply. So Mr. Busy went upstairs, 2 at a time. "Good heavens," he said, "you're still in bed." And he made Mr. Slowe get up. He made his bed for him and cooked his breakfast for him and cleaned his house for him. Poor Mr. Slowe, he hated to be rushed and fussed. "Right," said Mr. Busy briskly. "It's a fine day. Let's go for a picnic." Mr. Slowe pulled a face. "Oh, I don't like picnics," he complained. "Nonsense," replied Mr. Busy, and busied himself around Mr. Slowe's kitchen, making up a picnic for the two of them. It took him a minute and a half. "Right," he cried when he'd finished. "Off we go." And he bustled Mr. Slowe out of his front door, and off they set. As you can imagine, Mr. Busy walks extremely quickly. And, as you can imagine, Mr. Slowe doesn't. So by the time Mr. Busy had walked a mile, do you know how far Mr. Slowe had walked? To his own garden gate. Mr. Busy hurried back. "Come on," he cried impatiently. "Hurry up." "Oh, hurry up," replied Mr. Slowe. "Impossible." "Oh, all right," said Mr. Busy. "We'll have a picnic in your garden. Wait a minute, though," he added. "The grass needs cutting." And he rushed back to Weekend Cottage, rushed back again with his lawnmower, and rushed up and down, cutting Mr. Slowe's lawn. It took him 2.5 minutes. It would have taken him 2 minutes, but he had to mow around Mr. Slowe, who couldn't get out of the way in time. "Right," cried Mr. Busy. "Picnic time." And together, on that fine summer day, they had a fine picnic. Well, actually, Mr. Busy had a finer picnic than Mr. Slowe, because he ate more quickly and had most of the food. Mr. Busy stretched out on the grass. "Oh, that was fun," he said. "I like picnics." "Oh, you do." "I don't," said Mr. Slowe. "Tell you what," went on Mr. Busy, ignoring him. "Tomorrow we'll go on a proper picnic, out into the country." Mr. Slowe pulled a face. "And," went on Mr. Busy, "in order to do that and get you out into the country, I'll have to call for you earlier than I did this morning." Mr. Slowe pulled another face. "See you tomorrow, then," said Mr. Busy, and went home and cleaned his house from top to bottom. The following morning, Mr. Busy jumped out of bed at 5 o'clock and had a bath and cleaned his teeth and cooked his breakfast and ate his breakfast and read the paper and washed up and made his bed and cleaned the house from top to bottom. By which time it was 6 o'clock. He went and knocked on Mr. Slowe's front door. Come on, he cried. "Time to be up and about. Picnic day." No reply. "Come on," cried Mr. Busy again. Still no reply. Mr. Busy went inside and went upstairs 3 at a time and into Mr. Slowe's bedroom, expecting to find him in bed. But he wasn't. And he wasn't anywhere upstairs, and he wasn't anywhere downstairs. "Oh, bother," said Mr. Busy. "I wonder where he's got to." Where Mr. Slow had got to was under his bed. Hiding. He didn't want to go on any picnic. Not he. Bother, said Mr. Busy again. That means I'll have to go on a picnic on my own. Under his bed, Mr. Slow smiled a slow smile. What a good idea, he said, and went to sleep, snoring very slowly. Mr. Clever was quite the cleverest person ever. The cleverest person in the world. And he knew it. Oh, I am so very, very clever, he used to say. To himself more often than not. He lived in Cleverland, where, as you may know, everybody and everything was as clever as can be. In Cleverland, clever trees managed to grow apples and oranges at the same time. In Cleverland, clever flowers get up and go for a walk. Clever worms drive around in cars all day. And clever elephants play tennis. 15 love. Oh, yes, Cleverland was quite the most clever place. Would you like to live there? Mr. Clever does. Oh, I am so very, very clever to build such a clever house, he used to go around telling everybody. One morning, Mr. Clever was awakened by his special Mr. Clever alarm clock. Not only did it wake you up by ringing a bell, it also switched on a light and said, "Good morning."
Good morning.
And made a cup of tea and showed what the weather was going to be and told you the time and showed you the date. It also whistled cheerfully while it was doing all that. Mr. Clever yawned, got up, washed, cleaned his teeth with his special Mr. Clever toothbrush, which squeezed toothpaste onto the brush out of the handle, and went downstairs for breakfast. He popped a slice of bread into his special Mr. Clever electric toaster, which not only toasted the bread, but also spread it with butter and marmalade, and cut off the crusts. After breakfast, he went for a long walk, an extremely long walk. In fact, such a long walk that he walked all the way out of Cleverland, although he didn't know it. He met somebody who was also out for a walk. Do you know who it was? That's right, Mr. Happy. "Hello," cried Mr. Clever. "I'm the cleverest person in the world." "Oh, good," said Mr. Happy. "Then you must be clever enough to make up a really good joke to tell me." "Jokes make me happy, you see," he explained. Mr. Clever's face fell. I don't know any jokes," he admitted. "Well, that's not very clever of you, is it?" said Mr. Happy, and went off. Mr. Clever went on. And do you know who he met next? That's right, Mr. Greedy. "Hello," cried Mr. Clever. "I'm the cleverest person in the world." "Oh, good," said Mr. Greedy. "Then you can tell me the recipe of the world's most delicious dish." He licked his lips. "I like food," he explained. Mr. Clever's face fell. I can't cook," he admitted, "and I don't know any recipes." "Well, that's not very clever of you, is it?" said Mr. Greedy, and went off. "And such food." Mr. Clever went on. And who do you think he met next? Yes, Mr. Forgetful. "Hello," cried Mr. Clever. "I'm the cleverest person in the world." "Oh, good," said Mr. Forgetful. Then you can tell me what my name is. He smiled apologetically. I've forgotten, he explained. Mr. Clever's face fell for the third time that morning. But I don't know your name, he admitted. We've only just met. Well, that's not very clever of you, is it? Said Mr. Forgetful. And he too went off, forgetting to say goodbye. And so it went on, all day. Mr. Clever couldn't tell Mr. Sneeze the cure for a cold. And he couldn't tell Mr. Small how to grow bigger. And he couldn't tell Mr. Jelly what the secret of being brave was. And he couldn't tell Mr. Topsy-Turvy how to talk the round way right. Yeah, I mean the right way around. A not very clever day. Not at all. Not a bit. As by now he wasn't feeling anything like the cleverest person in the world, Mr. Clever decided he'd better go home. He passed a pair of worms who were having a chat. Who's that? Asked one worm. Oh, that, replied the other worm, is Mr. Clever, the cleverest person in the world, on his way home to Cleverland. He can't be that clever, said the first worm. He's going the wrong way. Whatever Mr. Wrong did was absolutely, totally, completely, utterly wrong. However hard he tried, he just couldn't do anything right. Just look at his house. One fine morning, Mr. Wrong woke up. He hadn't slept very well because of the way he'd made his bed the day before. He jumped out of bed, fell over, twice, put on his shoes, on the wrong feet, went to the bathroom, tripping over the bath mat, squeezed out some toothpaste onto the wrong side of his toothbrush, cleaned his teeth, and went downstairs. Bump, 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 bump. Not a very good start to the day. In fact, his usual wrong start to the day. In his kitchen, Mr. Wrong poured some milk onto his cornflakes and missed. As he sat in his kitchen that fine morning, eating his dry cornflakes, he sighed. Oh dear, he thought. I do so wish that everything I do wasn't quite so absolutely, totally, completely, utterly wrong. So after breakfast, he went for a walk in order to think how he could solve his problem. It took him 10 minutes to get out of the house, because he kept trying to open his front door outwards instead of inwards. As he walked along, he passed a worm. "Morning, dog," he said. The worm grinned. He was used to Mr. Wrong. He met a postman. "Morning, Mr. Wrong," called the postman cheerfully. "Morning, doctor," replied Mr. Wrong. Oh, dear. He met old Mrs. Twinkle, who lived down the lane. "Good morning, Mr. Wrong," she smiled. "Morning, Mr. Twinkle," replied Mr. Wrong. Oh, dear. And then he met somebody he'd never met before. Somebody who sort of looked like him, but didn't. "Good morning, sir," said that somebody. "Good morning, madam," replied Mr. Wrong. "I'm Mr. Wrong." "I guessed that," replied the person. "Well, I'm Mr. Right. Now tell me," he went on, why are you walking along looking so miserable?" "Because," replied Mr. Wrong, "I can't do anything right." "In which case," said Mr. Right, "we'd better do something about it. Follow me." And off he set. and upset Mr. Wrong in the opposite direction. Mr. Right hurried back and turned him round. "This way," he said. And they walked together to where Mr. Right lived. It was a house which somehow looked something like where Mr. Wrong lived, but different. Mr. Right took Mr. Wrong into his living room. "I think," he said, "that the only way you're ever going to change is for you to come and live with me for a while. And you may end up by being not quite so absolutely, totally, completely, utterly wrong about everything. Sit down," he said, "and we'll talk about it." Mr. Wrong sat down and missed. Mr. Wrong stayed with Mr. Right for a month, and during that time he changed. After 1 week he was slightly less wrong than he had been before. After 2 weeks he was even more slightly less wrong than he had been before. And after a whole 4 weeks he was a changed Mr. Man. You could hardly tell the difference between him and Mr. Right. Don't you agree? Mr. Right was delighted. "Told you," he cried. "Told you that everything about you might end up by being not quite so absolutely, totally, completely, utterly wrong. In fact," he continued, "you've really turned out all right." Mr. Wrong blushed. It was quite the nicest thing anyone had ever said to him in the whole of his life. And he went home and lived happily and right ever after. Now, you'll probably think that that's the end of the story, don't you? But it isn't. And the reason it isn't is because of what happened to Mr. Right. The trouble was, you see, that the longer Mr. Wrong had stayed with Mr. Right, and the more right Mr. Wrong became, the more wrong Mr. Right had become. Isn't that extraordinary? "Oh, dear," he sighed. "My plan didn't quite work out the way I'd planned it after all." And he went to bed in the bath. Poor Mr. Happy had had a tiring day, rushing here and there and back again. Cheering people up was hard work. "Phew," he sighed, as he went into his house and sat down for well-earned rest on a kitchen chair. But then, do you know what happened? It fell to bits. Bump went poor Mr. Happy. "Oh, that's all I need," he said. "I rather think I've had a visit from Mr. Mischief." He was right. Outside Mr. Happy's house, and running away as fast as his little legs would carry him, was a small, mischievous figure. Mr. Mischief. "Oh, Mischief, glorious Mischief," he cried. "I do love it." And he ran giggling into the night. The next morning there was a knock at Mr. Greedy's front door. But when he went to answer it, there was no one there. But what was there was a box. And inside the box was a large chocolate cake, filled with cream and with the most delicious-looking pink icing. Mr. Greedy's eyes gleamed. He licked his lips, shut his eyes, and opened his mouth, and took a large bite. The chocolate wasn't chocolate. It was mud. The cream inside wasn't cream. It was cotton wool. And that delicious-looking pink icing wasn't icing at all. It was toothpaste. And outside Mr. Greedy's house, and running away as fast as his little legs would carry him, was a small, mischievous figure. Mr. Mischief. Oh, Mischief, glorious Mischief! Oh, I do love it. That's not all. That very same morning, Mr. Funny discovered that someone had filled his hat with treacle. very sticky treacle. Can you guess who that someone might have been? You're right. Mr. Mischief. Oh, Mischief. Glorious Mischief. Oh, I do so love it. However, that very same afternoon, Mr. Mischief did something that he was to regret. He was walking along through the woods looking for mischief when he came across a wizard. A fast-asleep wizard. I know, giggled Mr. Mischief. I'll change over the wizard's wand for an ordinary piece of wood. Then he can't do any magic. He grinned a mischievous grin and crept quietly toward the slumbering wizard. Mr. Mischief reached carefully out and seized the wizard's magic wand. But what he didn't know was that wizard's wands don't like to be seized. Help! Shrieked the wand in a high, shrill voice, and awakened the wizard, who in turn seized Mr. Mischief by his nose, which was extremely painful. Let go my nose, said Mr. Mischief. I know who you are, said the wizard. You are that Mr. Mischief who sawed through poor Mr. Happy's chair legs and baked a rather unusual cake for poor Mr. Greedy and put treacle in poor Mr. Funny's hat. Oh, I've been hearing all about you, he said. Let go, my dude, cried Mr. Mischief again. Very well, said the wizard, but don't believe you can get away with being as mischievous as all that. And, as he let go of Mr. Mischief's nose, he got hold of his magic wand and waved it. Beware, he said, and went off. Silly old wizard, muttered Mr. Mischief. Can't take a joke. And he went home. Silly old wizard, he said again, as he sat down in his kitchen. Bump. Silly, silly, silly old wizard, growled Mr. Mischief, picking himself up. Him and his silly magic. And he made himself some porridge for tea. Smiled Mr. Mischief as he put a large spoonful of porridge into his mouth. Yuck. Somehow, as if by magic, which of course it was, the porridge had turned into sawdust. Oh dear, spluttered Mr. Mischief. Perhaps I'd better not get up to quite so much mischief in future after all. And he went upstairs. He jumped into bed and splosh! The bed was full of raspberry jam. Oh dear, sighed Mr. Mischief. I think I definitely must not get up to quite so much mischief in future. And do you know something? The day after, he was as good as gold. And the next day. And the day after that. Lasted a week. And then that old mischievous urge got the better of him. He just couldn't help himself. It was a Saturday night. He crept into Mr. Fuss's house when he was fast asleep. Can you guess what he did? Oh, what a beautiful piece of perfect mischief, he cried as he ran giggling home. He'd cut off half Mr. Fuss's moustache. Isn't that terrible? Poor Mr. Fussy. He was absolutely horrified when he awoke and found out. But even that terrible piece of mischief is not the end of Mr. Mischief's story. So, just take a look out of the window. Go on. You can't see a small mischievous figure anywhere about, can you? Can you? You sure? Oh, mischief, glorious mischief. I do so love it. Mr. Quiet liked the quiet life. He lived quietly in a small little cottage in the middle of a wood. The problem was, his small little cottage was in the middle of a wood, in the middle of a country called Loudland. Everything and everybody in Loudland was noisy. Oh, the noise. Dogs didn't go woof like dogs you know. They went woof. People didn't shut their doors like you or I would shut our doors. They slammed them. Bang! People didn't talk to each other, they shouted at each other. Hello! They'd shout as they met in the street. And you've heard about something being as quiet as a mouse, haven't you? Not in Loudland. They had the noisiest mice in the world. Squeak! Squeak! They'd roar at each other. Mr. Noisy would have liked living in Loudland. He'd have loved it. But Mr. Quiet didn't. Noise frightened him. So he stayed in his cottage in the middle of his wood as much as he could. But, of course, he couldn't stay there all the time. Every week, for instance, he had to go shopping. He used to creep into the grocer's shop. Good morning, bellowed the grocer. What can I do for you? Poor Mr. Quiet. He replied in a whisper. Please, he whispered. Could I have some cornflakes, please? What? Cornflakes, please, he whispered. Speak up! Mr. Quiet tried his loudest whisper. Cornflakes. Can't hear you, shouted the grocer. Next, please. And poor Mr. Quiet had to creep away without any cornflakes. Wasn't fair, was it? He crept into the butcher's. Please, he whispered. I'd like some meat. The butcher didn't even hear him. He was humming to himself, loudly and fiercely. Mr. Quiet tried again. Please, he whispered. I'd like some meat. The butcher started to whistle. Sounded more like a burglar alarm than a whistle. Mr. Quiet fled, empty-handed. It often happened, which probably explains why he was so little. Poor Mr. Quiet. He sat at home that night with a feeling of despair. Whatever am I to do? He thought. It's no use. I'll just have to try again. And so the following day, he went shopping again. But the same thing happened. Can't hear you, thundered the grocer. Next, please. Can't hear you, bellowed the greengrocer. Next, please. Can't hear you, roared the milkman. Next, please. Can't hear you, boomed the butcher. Next, please. Oh, dear. Poor Mr. Quiet went home and went to bed, hungry. The morning after, he was awakened by a noise which sounded like bombs dropping. It was the Loudland postman knocking at Mr. Quiet's door. Bang, bang! Bang, bang! Mr. Quiet went and opened the door. Morning! Shouted the postman. Letter for you! Mr. Quiet took the letter into his kitchen. He sat down to open it. He waited until the noise of the postman's footsteps died away. Clump, 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 clump. Mr. Quiet opened the letter in great excitement. He'd never had a letter before. It was from Mr. Happy in Happyland. An invitation to stay. Mr. Quiet was overjoyed. He rushed upstairs, packed his bag, and set off that very morning. It was late when he arrived on Mr. Happy's doorstep. He knocked on the door. Tap, tap, tap. Mr. Happy opened the door. Hello, he smiled. I thought I heard something. You must be Mr. Quiet. Well, don't just stand there. Come in, have some supper. It was the first proper meal Mr. Quiet had had for months. And while he was eating it, he told Mr. Happy all about the problems he'd been having in Loudland. Mr. Happy was most sympathetic. Over breakfast the following morning, Mr. Happy told Mr. Quiet that he'd been thinking about his problem. I think, he said, that under the circumstances, you'd better stay here in Happy Land. Mr. Quiet's face lit up. And, continued Mr. Happy, we'll find you a house. And a job. Mr. Quiet's face dropped. I'm not very good at jobs, he confessed, because I'm too quiet. Ah, smiled Mr. Happy. I have the very job for a quiet chap like you. And so the very next day Mr. Quiet started work. And he loves it. Do you know where he works? In the Happy Lending Library. And as you know, everybody who goes into a library has to be very quiet, and only whispering is allowed. What a clever idea of Mr. Happy's, wasn't it? And these days, Mr. Quiet is as happy as can be. Why, only the other day, do you know what he did on his way home from work? He was so happy, he laughed out loud. Can you imagine? Tee. Next, please. Mr. Nonsense had no sense at all, not a scrap. I mean, he lived in a tree. A tree? Can you imagine? Why do you live in a tree? Mr. Happy asked him one day.
Because,
replied Mr. Nonsense.
I tried living on the ground, but that was too high, so I moved to a tree to be nearer the ground.
What nonsense, snorted Mr. Happy.
Thank you,
replied Mr. Nonsense. And you know what Mr. Nonsense likes to eat? Porridge. Well, nothing wrong with that, you might say, but porridge on toast. Really? Why do you like porridge on toast? Mr. Nosey asked him one day.
Because,
replied Mr. Nonsense,
I tried porridge sandwiches and I didn't like them.
And do you know where Mr. Nonsense sleeps every night? In a rowing boat. In his bedroom. In his house. Up a tree. Why do you sleep in a rowing boat? Mr. Strong asked him one day.
Because,
replied Mr. Nonsense,
I tried sleeping in a motorboat, but it was somewhat uncomfortable.
Mr. Nonsense lives, as you might very well expect, in a country called Nonsense Land. Now, I know somebody else who lives in Nonsense Land. Do you? That's right. Mr. Silly. Mr. Silly and Mr. Nonsense were close friends and saw a lot of each other. Mr. Nonsense was often round at Mr. Silly's house playing jigsaw puzzles. They used to throw the pieces at each other. How silly. And Mr. Silly was often round at Mr. Nonsense's house playing cards. They used to tear them up to see who could get the most pieces out of any one card. What nonsense. However, this story is about the time it snowed in Nonsense Land. It didn't snow very often, but one winter it did. Now, tell me, what colour is snow? No. In Nonsense Land, when it snows, it doesn't snow white snow. It snows yellow snow. Don't ask me why, but it does. Yellow snow. And when Mr. Silly woke up one morning, the whole of Nonsense Land was yellow. I say, he said when he looked out of his bedroom window, snow. And he was so excited, he rushed round to Mr. Nonsense's house. Mr. Nonsense was asleep in his boat. Wake up, cried Mr. Silly. Wake up. Come and look out of the windows.
Whatever on earth is it?
Grumbled Mr. Nonsense, rubbing the sleep out of his eyes, as he got up and went across to his bedroom window.
I say,
he said, looking out.
Custard.
That isn't custard, you silly banana, cried Mr. Silly. That's snow. He rushed downstairs. Come on, he called. And that day Mr. Silly and Mr. Nonsense had one of the very best days of their lives. They had a snowball fight. Mr. Silly's snowballs were round. Mr. Nonsense made snowballs that somehow or other came out sort of square. They built a snowman, a very silly, nonsensical sort of a snowman.
Come on,
Said Mr. Nonsense that afternoon.
let's go tobogganing.
But we don't have a toboggan, said Mr. Silly.
Oh, no we don't.
Agreed Mr. Nonsense. Mr. Silly thought. Oh, yes, we do, he cried. And Mr. Silly ran back to Mr. Nonsense's house and came back with his bed. Whee! They shouted together as they slid faster and faster down the hill in their rowing boat toboggan. Whee! 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 It was a wonderful day. And that evening, after having supper together, porridge pie, Mr. Nonsense suggested that they play a game. Now, what shall we play? Asked Mr. Silly.
Drafts.
Suggested Mr. Nonsense. I've forgotten how to play drafts, said Mr. Silly.
Oh, it's easy,
Replied Mr. Nonsense. And he went round and opened all the doors and windows.
There we are,
He said,
drafts.
what nonsense. He'd only had time for 3 hours' sleep because he'd been rushing about for so long the day before. Oh dear, he cried, leaping out of bed. I'm late. And he rushed into his bathroom, washed, not very well, as he was in such a hurry, and cleaned one tooth, and rushed downstairs 3 at a time. He had a boiled egg and toast and a cup of tea for breakfast. He boiled the egg for 5 seconds, and it tasted awful. He toasted the bread for 1 second, so it wasn't brown at all. And as he couldn't bear to wait for the kettle to boil, he made his tea with cold water. Ooh, what a horrid breakfast. And of course, he was in such a rush that he only ate half of it. Rush. Silly fellow. After his half a breakfast, he rushed off again. Out of his front door, leaving it open, down his garden path, out of his garden gate, leaving it open too, and off down the lane. He passed Mr. Happy. Hello, called Mr. Happy. Morning, Mr. Rush. Where are you off to? Can't stop, cried Mr. Rush. I'm in too much of a hurry. I can see that, thought Mr. Happy to himself as he watched Mr. Rush disappear into the distance. I wonder where he's going. Where Mr. Rush was going was nowhere. Fast, as usual. He rushed around all the morning, then he rushed home, had a quick bite to eat, a sandwich without bread, and then rushed off again and rushed around all the afternoon. That evening he was reading a magazine. He never had time to read a book, when he saw an advertisement for a holiday. Oh, he said, oh, I'd like that. I haven't had a holiday for ages. But then his face fell. I can't go on holiday, he thought, because I don't have any money. Then he thought again, and his face rose. I know, he thought, I'll get a job. And so the following morning, he rushed off and got a job with a farmer, milking cows. But of course he wasn't any good at that, because if there's one thing a cow can't stand, it's being rushed, especially when it's being milked. So Mr. Rush rushed off and got himself another job, driving a bus. But of course he wasn't any good at that, because he was always in such a rush, he never stopped at any of the bus stops. And if there's one thing people waiting at a bus stop don't like, it's when the bus doesn't stop for them. So Mr. Rush rushed off again, got himself another job, as a waiter in a hotel. But of course he wasn't any good at that, because no sooner had he served people a meal, and they'd taken one bite, and he whisked the plate away from under their noses. And if there's one thing hungry people can't stand, it's having food whisked away from them. Poor Mr. Rush. No job, no money. Oh dear, sighed to himself. I'm never going to be able to go on holiday. He looked very glum and gloomy. But then an idea struck him. An idea for a job for someone who rushes around all the time. An ideal job for someone who was the fastest thing on 2 legs. Do you know what that job was? Would you like to know what that job was? A postman, delivering express letters. Mr. Rush was so good at it that he delivered twice as many letters in half the time any postman had ever done it before. And soon he'd saved enough money for that holiday of his. And so, the very next week, there was Mr. Rush sitting on a beach in the hot sunshine under a palm tree on holiday. Oh, this is the life, he grinned, and rushed off for a swim. It was 15th that morning, and it wasn't even breakfast time.